Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you on this, the eve of the 100th anniversary of the ending of the war that would end all wars. And before we get started, something really important. Somebody lost a flip phone that was in the parade. It was found in the middle of Main Street. Do I have any takers? Anyhow, it is up here. But let me tell you one thing. There is one thing you learn in the military. Be flexible and improvise. And that's what we're doing today. If we get a little out of order, forgive us. But we will get through with this. And we want to honor all of our Macon County and Franklin veterans. And thank you for such a great turnout on a lousy, rainy day. But all days are good as long as you can turn out. I also want to thank all of our town employees who made this all possible, who were here early this morning setting up. And there was a concern whether we would go ahead with it, but you know, veterans have endured a whole lot more than a little rain. So here we are, and welcome again. I'd like to call on Bob Litton for the Pledge of Allegiance. Bob?
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Bob. I also forgot one person. I want to thank Gary Shields. Gary, where are you? Gary lined up this parade and got it here, and maybe he snuck out on me. I don't know. Okay, there you are. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. The next item on the, I'm used to saying the next item on the agenda. This isn't really an agenda. This is the program. I want to introduce some of the special guests. I saw Ronnie Beal, County Commissioner, wandering around. Hi, Ronnie. Welcome. Also, Joe Collins on the Town Council. I think Joe's behind me. Barbara McRae, the Vice Mayor of Franklin, she's here. I think that, is anyone I've missed? Okay. The mayor? He doesn't count. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. The next thing, I want to open it up with the invocation by Grace Johnson. Grace was a nurse in the military, and we're so proud of Grace.
Bow with me, please. Father God, we come before you today to honor our veterans, both past and presently serving stateside and across the world, even in some places we're not even aware of. I thank you for their willingness to risk all that our nation might have, dwell in peace and safety. Lord, for those who make a difference, who live their faith in hard places, who sacrifice for others, that freedom's light can shine brightly. We give you thanks. I pray that you will heal the physical and psychological wounds some of these veterans have suffered. Bring peace to those who mourn the love of comrades. Father, I pray that our nation will learn to respect and acknowledge those who have served their country well. It's in Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen.
Excuse me, we were going to have the national anthem. We may have to wait a minute. Our singer hasn't arrived yet, but as soon as he does, we'll proceed. I want to mention one other thing. Right behind me is Coley Tyler, who has some of the books he wrote, The Ghost of Fallujah. He is a Franklin native, graduate of West Point, and we're really proud to have Coley here with his books, Ghost of Fallujah. So if you get a chance, drop by and talk to him. He's right back here under the white tent. I don't know, was anyone here for the presentation of Quilts of Valor yet? May not have been able to make it today. All right, and also at the art gallery, they're presenting 9 portraits of veterans today over at the art gallery just on Main Street, so if you get a chance, go by. Also, there is a lunch, a chili lunch at the VFW as soon as this ceremony concludes. Does anybody else have an announcement that I have missed? Okay, I'd like to introduce Ken Carpenter. Ken Carpenter will be introducing our speaker for this morning. Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our speaker today is a local product, born and bred in Macon County, as were his parents, grandparents, and a number of generations before them. He and his family has always called Macon County home, although they have been obligated to live away from time to time. After high school, he joined the Navy and served aboard the USS Newport News out of Norfolk, Virginia during his entire service tour. He served under the flag of the Cruiser Division II, 6th Fleet, also the 2nd Fleet, Task Group 122 during the Cuban crisis. He was a communication technician, specialist aboard the Newport News at the beginning of the Vietnam conflict, and was discharged before his ship was deployed to the Pacific Fleet. After his honorable discharge, he pursued further education in ministry and served several churches in Michigan before returning to serve at the Church of Christ here in Franklin, which he has been the minister there for the past 47 years. He is a member of the American Legion, a supporter of all our veterans in many ways. It's an honor for me to introduce to you Mr. Radford Penland.
Thank you, Ken, Mr. Mayor, for this opportunity to speak to the Patriots here. The privilege of recognizing you and your service to our country. At the outset, let me express my appreciation for all of our veterans organizations, the VFW, American Legion, the Marine Corps League, and the Vietnam Veterans, and all of the others who have made and given so many things to our veterans and to their needs. I'm grateful also for the VA clinic, which you have made available. It's great not to have to travel all the way to Asheville for all of our needs and health care. It's a very fine clinic, very good staff. I'm thankful for the beautiful Memorial Park that has really impressed me over the years. The work and the labor that went into that for the Memorial Drive or Highway, for all of those many things, I want to express my appreciation. And I'm thankful for our law enforcement, for our fire department, for the emergency service, and all of the county works that make it a good place for our veterans to live here in Macon County. I'm very proud to be a Maconian, and you're the reason for it. Thanks to each of you from the depth of my heart for being here today to observe this special day and to do so in such inclement weather. If I were to define for you the word patriot, it would be one who loves his country and guards its welfare. I believe that that's who you are. What more commendable act could have been done by a peace-loving people than to have made this day to remember the sacrifices of all of those who have made freedom and liberty possible. Today, we say thank you, veterans. We thank you so much for answering our nation's call to serve here and abroad during the times of peace and the times of national conflict. The path of our present peace from hostile and suppressive forces has been paved by the sacrifice of so many, from our revolutionary forces down to our present day. So many have stood to defend at the gates of liberty. There's a realization found in the observance of Veterans Day, and that is that freedom, like all of life's precious possessions, was not and cannot be cheaply gained nor easily helped. At the very moment that we announce to the world that we have secured it and we sit back to rest upon our laurels, we'll wake to find out that we're forced to defend it again. In the history of mankind, no ideal has been more universally cherished than the right to be free. And from the very outset of this nation's beginning, our armed forces have been engaged many times in desperate conflict, not only to have purchased our freedom, but to have defended and to protect it. The patriot Thomas Paine said, "Heaven knows how to put a proper price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated." And that price has never been more highly fixed than it is in our present age. President John F. Kennedy, in his memorial inaugural address, said, "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty." And so we have, and so we shall. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. You can call it what you will, whether patriotism or dedication or courage, sacrifice or commitment. Freedom has come to us today at a very high cost. Brave men and women donned this uniform, took their place among the ranks of other patriots, willing to sacrifice their all because of the love for this great country and the right to be free. Now, I understand patriotism to be the love of country. That's what the dictionary calls it. And there are many, many patriots who have never worn the uniform of the armed forces, but who deeply love this nation and cherish their liberties. That's patriotism. But a veteran is one who has worn the uniform of a military service. You can be a patriot without being a veteran, but it's highly unlikely that you can be a veteran without being a patriot. Perhaps the word responsibility goes as far as any one word could to embrace what is meant by the price of freedom. Responsibility is the twin brother of freedom. One is responsible only if they're free, and they can be free only if they are responsible. For our continued liberty can be secured, I think, by accepting all of those awesome responsibilities which is inherent in it. And it must be forfeited the very moment those responsibilities are exchanged for lotus blossom living. And this is, after all, just another way of saying that no such thing as absolute or unlimited freedom can be ours without vigilance. Man is most free in the discovery that he is not free from personal commitment to uphold and guard what has been so costly given him by those who have gone before. While we concede this vital principle to be true in achieving national freedom, let us never ignore the fact that it is even more true as we pursue individual freedoms, even more true because personal freedom is the stuff of which government freedom is obtained. There's cause for alarm in our country today when persons are inordinately preoccupied with freedom's rights to the neglect of freedom's many responsibilities. A government cannot give us freedom. We, the people, endow the government with its powers, and the government produces no commodity of its own, but it gives to its people only that which it takes from them. Our government derives its power entirely from the quality of the people who comprise it. And when we as a people shift the responsibility of freedom to the government, we must be willing to accept whatever consequences that brings. Tarianism is the result of believing that the fountainhead of freedom is external rather than internal. When voters find that they can grant themselves cheap, unlimited freedom by empowering government to give it to them, they'll find that unlimited freedom brings with it also unlimited repression. We have heard it so many times. Freedom is never free, and I believe that to be true. It is the sheer acquisition of individuals who accept the responsibility at a personal level. And on every hand, we're being warned that the growing demand for unlimited personal freedom in our nation is the danger signal for our day. We're blessed with the privilege of freedom because you, the brave men and women who have served this country so well, have safeguarded it for us at a great sacrifice. When and if we ever forget, we become unthankful and we become undeserving of what it has cost each and every one of you to procure it. We thank you so much for what you have done for us. And I like to say, unless we recognize what is seen above the doors of the courthouse over there, and on our law enforcement and county vehicles, and what should never be forgotten, as our founding fathers said it 4 times in our national declaration, in God we trust. We thank God for the freedom that you have given us today. We thank you for your sacrificing service. The greatest tragedy that could befall this country is for us to forget our responsibility to you, who have fought and suffered so much to give our nation the sheer liberty and peace which we enjoy today. We do this when you bow your head and remember our young men and women who are in harm's way today, who are standing at the gate of liberty, who are facing terrible foes, aggressively attacking your right to be a free people. We always remember them. And if you will, God will bless you. And may God always bless America. Thank you so very much.
All right, as I said, we are flexible and we improvise. We got a little out of order, but now we're going to have the national anthem sung by my good friend David Moffitt. David?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much, David. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Bob Litton, and Bob is going to conduct us in the laying of the wreath celebration. Bob?
Those come forward to get the wreaths.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate your being here. And I think it's very fitting that this ceremony today, even though it's raining, is the commemoration of the 100 years since the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th year. Thank you so much. Have a safe trip home.
And we thank God that we didn't get as much rain as we expected during this ceremony.